Hi, I'm Janet. Welcome to JanetsHUB, celebrating you every version, where I bring in industry experts. Speaking of industry experts, we have Dr. Richard Gregory with us, also known as Dr. G. He is a board-certified plastic surgeon who specializes in facial procedures. We will be discussing with you fillers for the face and the artistry that goes with that. So you need the science and the artistry to have the maximum effect and to look your best.
When we're young, I really like the mylar balloon example, but when we're young, we have nice elastic skin. Everything's nice and plump, it's nice and round and so forth. But you're going to see over a period of time, this will soften up and start shrinking down. But these creases are getting deeper. You see how it's getting like this? This is what happens to the face. It deflates. And as it deflates, it sags down in here. So you end up from a round face to a square one. I really like this mylar balloon thing because that's how our face deflates. And what we're trying to do here is restore volume to the face.
So Dr. G, I have these hollows. I've noticed as I've gotten older and my eyebrows are kind of starting to drop. Is there anything you can do with filler for those?
Certainly can. This area is called the temporal fossa. It's basically part of the chewing muscle that goes under here and attaches to the jawbone, going up and down. We lose fat in this area, and that's the reason why this shrinks, and that's one of the signs of aging is this shallowness or hollowness. We can actually put filler in there and put that back up. So it is a good idea. At the same time, you can also put a little bit of filler under the eyebrow here and give a little bit more prominence to the eyebrow and do that. You have to put that deep. These are both deep fillers as far as they goes. On this side right here, just to illustrate, I've also added cotton balls to show you where we would augment the face with fillers. Some across here, perhaps some over in here, some across the jawline. The upper jaw and the lower jaw both actually tend to waste to thin out. And in fact, people get fractures as they get older because they lose bone support to those areas. But these are all deep fillers to restore volume. That's not what you'd be using for the fine little creases and so forth.
The first question, with the deep filler like what you were just talking, is that what people normally would use for lips?
It would be the wrong thing to do for the lips digit. The reason why is because the way it's manufactured, it's stiffer, but it also can be lumpy. When you put something shallow, as in the lips, a nice, soft, pliable structure, you actually want to have it blend better. And a thinner filler will do that. So you can put that very shallow right along the lip line. I have a special technique for doing the lips, by the way, that I think is different from most people, so that you don't have to have puffy lips. People come in, one of the most common things I hear is that I don't want those puffy lips like so-and-so.
Duck lips.
Yeah, the bottom line is that people need to look natural. I think that's basically, we want to look youthful, yes, but we don't want them to look unusual. Yeah. So we try to control that, and the way we do it is by using the various fillers in different places.
So no deep for the lips. As far as my issues are more this area here
crease,
and
yes.
right here.
Yes.
So
right.
What would you recommend on doing for something like that?
Well, I think one of the lighter hyaluronic acid fillers would be my preference there. For instance, the Juvederm or the Restylane. And they come in different grades, so we can sort of use them in different places. The deeper fillers, which are thicker, will last longer. They say 18 to 24 months for the deeper fillers, versus the superficial fillers, maybe 9 to 12 months. It has to do with how rapidly the body metabolizes those areas, okay? These all are the same company, the same molecule, but they're different, and which stack them like this, but these are all different grades of the same thing. So what you see here is the Juvederm Ultra, this is Juvederm Ultra Plus, and this is Juvederm Voluma. Well, Voluma, basically sounding like volume, which it is used deep because it lasts longer, but it can be lumpy if you try to put it too shallow. Versus these other things, for instance, this one down here is the one I would put if we're going to inject around the eyelids, which by the way is off-label. I would inject this one. Okay, so in any case, this is the muscle diagram we showed before when we were doing the Botox. It's very good for this type of thing too, but to a certain extent, the filler that I've used under the eyelid, not in the eyelid, but under the eyelid is right here for this tear trough or nasojugal groove. And it enhances the dark circle. There are other reasons for dark circles, so this doesn't totally cure them, but it will help. So we put a little bit very deep here. It's such a shallow area though that you want to use the softest, most pliable, most blendable is the term I would use, to fill that in. So you can put a little bit in here. There is a caveat. There are deep vessels there which we can't see, and there have been reports of vascular occlusion and even some loss of vision. So I throw that out. I've never seen it. I think it's extremely rare, but it is possible to do something like that. So you have to actually be very careful in this area. These are the 3 grades of the Juvederm. We have the Restylane here also, which it comes in different grades. This is the Restylane Lift. It's more of a volumizing type, but it's a different company. So we use them to a certain extent similarly, but slightly different. Okay? And of course this one, we talked about this. This is the one that generates your own collagen. It's polylactic acid, which is actually a sugar molecule. So when you look in here, we reconstitute it with fluid. The bottle is freeze-dried, so it looks like an empty bottle. But when you put it in there, you get a suspension of these little crystals, and it's sort of a cloudy type solution. Then what you do is inject those crystals, the fluid gets absorbed. What happens for the first day or two, it looks a little puffy just because of the fluid, but as the fluid absorbs, it leaves the crystals behind. The crystals then stimulate the body to generate collagen. Each of those little crystals become a focus of new collagen, and as the body grows that, it plumps it up.
Wow.
So this is one that takes a while to see the final result. You may see some results in 4 to 6 weeks, probably 3 to 4 months, maybe even as long as 6 months to see the final result. But the fact is, many times we'll do this more than once.
And is this one that goes deeper?
It does. It's definitely deeper. You would not put this in the lips or the eyelids or anything like that.
Okay. So if somebody's coming into you, is there anything that they need to make sure they have not done prior to having fillers?
So, somewhat the same as with the Botox. Basically, you want to actually avoid anything that's going to thin your blood because you can get bruising. We can't see these little micro vessels. That's the first thing. And of course, still invariably, we will get some bruising, in which case what we do is have the patient use arnica cream or something else to decrease the bruising.
And then what about afterwards?
So I'm doing a very shallow fill, and particularly under the eyelids. I will have the patient do some massage. In fact, I'll show them how to do that. I think that's important to keep it from looking too full or lumpy.
So if someone has a big event, like the next day or a couple days, they probably want to wait and hold off on doing the fillers?
It would be a good idea to do it a week or so ahead of time, just to give it time to settle down and settle in. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Nice. So what's the cost on the products? For example, the Juvederm Ultra. What's the cost?
Depends on
that?
who does it. $500 to $700 per syringe.
Okay, and then
And that's a 1 milliliter syringe. I emphasize to people too, they don't realize how little amount, a small amount it takes to do the job. 1 syringe, for instance, is 1/5 of a teaspoon, and you know how much a teaspoon is. We're using 1/5 of that to restore creases, and that's probably about what we're going to do today. Okay, so it doesn't take very much to plump it up.
okay, and then something like a Restylane. What's kind of the
Restylane
cost
sort
of
of
it?
falls into the same category. As you get thicker, though, for instance, with the Voluma, it's a little bit more expensive. It'll last almost twice as long.
Ah,
So,
okay.
but it's the deeper too.
All
Okay.
right. Nice. And then the Sculptra.
The Sculptra,
Pricing on it?
once again, probably takes 2 or 3 treatments as far as that goes, and the pricing is similar, in that same range. It depends on where you go. Obviously, some you may pay $800 or $900 a syringe or a treatment, but the fact is that it just depends on how much you need. Some places, by the way, injectors will charge by the area. So they say, well, do your forehead and it's going to be X number of dollars. I would prefer doing it by the volume or by the number of units that we use.
Sure.
And the reason why is because some people need more than that. We're going to be treating the area here in we call the nasolabial crease. This is the nasolabial fold. This is created by the muscles which come up this way and attach to the bone. And when you smile, that shortens up. It also causes some of the creases around the eyes when you smile, pushes the cheek skin up. But we're going to be paying a lot of attention to this crease today, here and here. Now, there's an area right here at the corner of the mouth. Actually, some people get drooling in this area, but it's called the commissure. And it's basically due to gravity pulling down. This is an area we treated Botox down here, but in any case, you get this groove down here. So we're going to be putting a little bit in that also. You can numb it with numbing. Sometimes in some patients, I will do a dental block, but that involves injections on the inside. So we numb the entire area around here. Today we're going to put ice on it, and that will give a lot of numbing. It does have numbing built into the filler that I'm going to be using. The skin has bacteria on it, and I think it's really important before you start injecting anything into the skin is clean off some of that bacteria. So this is a little bit of antiseptic solution I'm using. Now we'll put the ice up there. While she does that, I'm going to come over here. That's where that goes. Now I'm going to tell you another little secret that I do I think is pretty uncommon among injectors. The Juvederm comes packaged like this in a sterile syringe with needles supplied and so forth, but it's a very large bore needle. I prefer putting it in a much smaller, so we actually transpose from here into the smaller needle because it's less painful. There's less likelihood of bleeding as far as that goes. It can be much more precise. So if you're filling these little fine lines, many times you can use this in order to plump things up. and have a much better result. All right, so I usually start at the bottom, but I like to stretch the skin out. Now I've already marked the crease, so we're going to go right in here. Here goes, fairly shallow. And I can watch with this little fine needle, I can almost see it plump up as I inject it. With the larger needle, you can't see that quite as well. So we're basically going to go up this way. Once again, this is the smallest needle we make. In fact, it's the same needle we use for the Botox. And the fact is that you're beginning to see it blunted up here just a little bit. That's what we want, very subtle. I'm right in under the skin. This is basically not in the skin, but right under it. About as close as I can get to still be under it. Okay, take this down. Now I want to show you the difference. Can you see how much sharper this is right here? And this is just 1/4 of a syringe. So we have more to go. I'll put a little bit more on this side right here, and then we'll come over to this side. But I think you can appreciate how much less sharp this side is where we filled to this side which we haven't. But in essence, I'm going to go a bit more through here, and we'll put a little bit more under here.
Does it have lidocaine in it?
It does. They put powdered lidocaine in this in order to take away the feel. It takes a little while for that to work though, so it's not instantaneous. And that's the reason why we usually use some sort of numbing to start with.
Sorry.
Like I said, this commissure line is due to the muscle and the folds right here and so forth. And to a certain extent, as it gets deeper, people start drooling, and they may even get little breakout areas down there where it gets irritated from the saliva. So sometimes we can help correct some of that with the injection. So in any case, I'm basically now filling up the area. I think that looks better already. In order to blend it better, sometimes I'll have the patient take, or I will do this. This is a little antiseptic solution there, but I do this and I'll go right along like that, and it helps blend it in, okay? I maintain that for the first 24, 48 hours, you can blend this. Now, the company does not recommend massage, but the fact is I think this helps smooth it out, blend it in and so forth. And it's certainly not going to decrease the effectiveness of your filler material. And down in here, and especially if the patient feels it's a little bit full, a little bit lumpy, you can even put your thumb inside the mouth and massage it with the thumb, between the thumb and finger. So it's a good little way of helping this right here. But I think we've got a really nice result, and you can sort of see the crease over here in the commissure versus the fill over in here. So those are the areas that we are treating. This crease is due to the fact that the chin structure, the anatomy of the chin is different from the rest of the face. It's actually much more compartmentalized, and it has a lot of little tiny filaments going down to a muscle, and then subsequently the bone under the chin. So we sometimes actually, this morning I used a bit of Botox in a patient that had some dimpling around the chin. Not a common area to use, it's certainly off-label, but it does help take away some of that dimpling of the chin. And there we are, turn toward the camera, right here. So we filled this, this, and this. Now, for patients that get bruising and so on, sometimes we use different things. Arnica cream, this has vitamin K in it also, which is actually a clotting vitamin. But Arnica montana is an herb that is used for bruising and swelling and so forth. And we'll frequently use this on our surgery patients, but also you can use it on the post-op injection patients, post-treatment injection. So with that, like that, and whatnot. Now, like I said, for the next 24 to 48 hours, if you feel like it's a little full in some area, you can blend it with a Q-tip.
Okay.
A little bit of Vaseline or something on the end of it. So what we've been illustrating here is the use of fillers for revolumization of the face and correction of fine lines in the face. To mention again, there are different kinds of fillers. They can be used differently. They're easy to use. There are very few side effects and so forth. You need to understand what's going on with it. Go to someone who has a lot of experience.
Thanks everyone for joining today. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel, click like on my video, and check out all my social media at JanetsHUB. And Dr. G, thank you so much for being with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Beauty should be fun.